Hello. Good morning. I hope you had a good one and you started it by nourishing yourself and your body and your mind. Today, I welcome you towards another book review. A book which left an impression in my mind. A book which was something new and different that I experienced. And it opened the door towards new genres, let's say, for me. This book is called The Vegetarian. To put it simply, it's a book about a person deciding to go vegetarian. But it's not that simple. It's very much not that simple. It's very complex, not in terms of the writing, but in terms of the things that happen in it. This is, in fact, the first drama book I have read. This book is all about drama. In real life, I try to stick away from drama, and in movies, it's like, sometimes it works, the other time, it's like, what else? But in this book, in this instance, in this story, it most definitely works. I ended up taking this book back from my friend because we did a book swap and she still hasn't read it, and I was like, I actually really want to do a book review on this before the end of my YouTube journey. So here we are. It's a book about desires. It's a book about wants and non-wants. I'm doing a good job about talking about this. So yeah, alright, this book follows a main protagonist, this female that ended up having this dream in which affected her mind very heavily and turned her mindset towards food and meat for life, technically. It ended up making her a bit cuckoo, but that's the beauty of it, I guess, and the consequence of how her loved ones ended up treating her due to that decision. Even though it's about this one main protagonist, this book is written in other people's perspectives according to her, and that's the thing I found quite interesting, actually. I kept wanting to, I guess, delve deeper into how she's thinking and what she's thinking, but it's always about how other people were taking it in and experiencing all this change that was happening. And it's crazy how much change can happen from just one person deciding to not eat animals. This is, in fact, when I was reading, there's 3 chapters, so 3 different perspectives. When I was reading the first chapter, I was surprised at the fact that this is like the first book where I didn't like a single character. I was like, yo, all of them are kind of messed up. Even the main character, in the first chapter, I was like, she's a bit much. I did not like any characters, and I was like, reading it's the first time where it's like reading something doesn't bring you necessarily joy, which was weird for me to feel. And yeah, like her whole family is messed up, her partner is messed up, and the first chapter is read in perspective of her husband, who is quite the dick, in fact. And I would say, like, I knew this book was going to be a bit rough when there was one line somewhere where the husband mentions so easily, it's just like a couple words, not even one single line, where he mentions that he practically raped her. Marital rape is a thing, and of course, and it's just, he mentioned it so easily and naturally, like it was nothing. I was like, okay, this book is something different than what I'm used to. Yes, and then the chapter that more so connected with me was the second one, It was done in the perspective of her sister's husband. And, well, that's the chapter in which they go more in depth into the desire for, well, lust, the desire for sex in a way, and about those lustful thoughts and images appearing in someone's mind, and then navigating them and directing the focus in a totally different direction, and just making everything worse in result. There's one extract I ended up highlighting in this book, and it's the only thing I ended up highlighting, is when this person was just talking about how such desire for lust and these images and thoughts and just things that they dream about doing can take a toll on someone. I guess I highlighted it because I could relate to it to an extent. And yeah, this will be the only thing I end up reading to you, I guess. Here we go. If it hadn't been for the image, he would never have had to go through all this anxiety, this discomfort and unease, this agonizing doubt and self-examination. He wouldn't have had to suffer the fear of losing everything he'd achieved. Due to a choice that he himself had made, he was becoming divided against himself. Was he a normal human being? More than that, a moral human being? A strong human being able to control his own impulses? In the end, he found himself unable to claim with any certainty that he knew the answer to these questions, though he'd been so sure before. And I was like, when I was reading it, I was like, yo, did they read my mind? Yo. And that's the point where I understood that this book delves deep into just the desires of the human mind in general, not just in lust, not just in food, just it goes deep into the mind. Yeah, I quite enjoyed the ending of the second chapter. I thought like how it was portrayed was quite the beautiful way of phrasing and just creating the atmosphere. And yeah, the third chapter is in fact my favorite one though. The third chapter is in perspective of the main character's sister, when in the first two, like, she's always mentioned and is always around, but I did not like her. And the third chapter finally put her perspective forward, in which I more so understood the life she was living and the effects it was having on her. And that's the point where I initially actually enjoyed, liked the character in this book on the last chapter. And also in the last chapter is when I finally liked the main character, mainly because that's when she was actually diagnosed insane. She turned out more fun when she was proper crazy. And yeah, the third chapter I think was a nice finish to it all, and nice just tie up in terms of the people in her life and how such decisions have affected everyone around her. I will be honest, I did not like the ending. I feel like it ended quite abruptly. And yeah, I wanted a tad more beauty in the way it ends, I guess. It was very abrupt and just sudden, in my opinion. But nonetheless, the story was pretty great. I was surprised about how much I enjoyed reading something like this. And yeah, I recommend. I'm very happy I actually was able to do a book review on this and talk about it. And I'm glad I actually remembered quite a bit of stuff that I guess wanted to talk about. And yeah, I very much recommend, and have a read about someone becoming vegetarian. Goodbye.